We're trying this material for the very first time, so follow along our journey and welcome back to our channel. We're going to try this cement-based material from Jesmonite, their variant AC730 silver grey granite base. They do have other variants for the AC730 that we hope to try in other videos. We need to mix this liquid and powder together in a ratio of 5:1. Let's go to the jesmonitecalculator.com, choose AC730. We are going to input how much water does our silicone mold take, so we can see how much liquid and powder do we need. And the calculations are done. Let's leave them up on the screen while we'll finish our measurements. An advice for the calculations, we try to be precise, but if it's over 1 or 2 grams, it's not going to be that big. And the struggle to open begins.
I cannot open it.
A broken lid, but let's continue with the powder. You're probably hearing some noises on the background. That's Thomas saddening, so say hi, Thomas. We're already mixing all the powder and liquid together because we have this lifesaver, the mixing blades. We cannot mix without a mixing blade. It makes all the difference in the world. It took us less than a minute to achieve this smooth consistency. We're going to pour on the silicone molds, and this is actually a vibration table, and we promise we will do a video in the future explaining how we made this vibration table. It's really good to remove unwanted air bubbles. Curing time is 4 hours, so we need to wait for that to unmold. There is also a retarder for AC730. This will help you have a longer time to work with the Jesmonite. This means that if you are mixing it by hand, if you put a little bit of retarder, it allows you to mix more properly and have more working time. This is already the next morning. We did this late at night, so it stayed in the silicone mold for more than 4 hours, which is not a problem, as you can see. Super soft. Let's go to the next step. Unfortunately, we cannot get our hands on the Jesmonite acid hatch, specifically designed for AC730, but we've heard that the alternative would be white vinegar. Although it takes much more time to remove the first layer and reveal the stone-like finish that this material is intended to have as a final result. But we're sure there are alternatives for cement acid etching in our own countries, and we found this at Karwei, Netherlands. Other materials that we need, these heavy-duty gloves. This container also seems quite cool, so yeah, let's get it. A mask, especially because we're acid etching, we're a little bit afraid of the fume. And the smell is bad, it smells like rotten eggs. Before acid etching, we are actually going to dry sand because of that little edge. This was so interesting. With Jesmonite AC100, sanding that edge would take seconds. With AC730, it took quite a long time. We were not expecting this. Let's start the acid etching process. First step, making the piece wet. We are applying the acid etch all over the product. Make sure that it's fully covered and has a thick layer of this solution, and wait for 3 minutes. And by the way, we are ignoring the bottom part. We don't think it's needed personally. As I mentioned before, the smell is not nice. Make sure to make this in a well-ventilated area and open a few windows.
Oh, I can see something.
You can now use a toothbrush or a brush to scrape that cement film and reveal the true texture. When you're happy with the texture, you can neutralize the acid with water and the reaction will stop. Going to wet the piece with water and wait for it to dry. This is the next day, about 10 hours after, and the piece looks pretty dry and it looks so beautiful. You can already see the texture.
We have here the result. We see that it's a little bit, it's not equal every side. Here it seems like it's missing a little bit, so we're going to try to acid etch a little bit more.
Same exact process, covering with acid etch, waiting for 3 minutes and brushing to reveal more texture. And neutralize with water.
Now let's wait for it to dry. We'll come back later. Okay, so we're going to use the Flexiguard sealer, and the recommendation is that it should be sprayed, so we put it in a bottle spray. Like super close, just going to spray it because it's getting thick. It's actually a little bit too much. It should maybe be a little bit thinner. I think this spray is a little bit too thick for what it is, but well, we're going to drench the whole, we're going to make sure that it's at least in the whole piece. It's a little bit too much that we added, but we're just seeing if everything is like wet. It looks wet. Does it look wet everywhere? So looks wet, and we're just going to let it dry and wait.
We sealed it 24 hours after the acid etch process and did one coat. For a first time trying this material, I think it's safe to say that went pretty great. We love the result. We like that we don't have to sand it. We don't love the smell while acid etching. This is a great alternative for candle jars and soap dishes. Have you tried it? Are you going to? Like, subscribe and comment if you like our videos. Thank you!